The deeply unpopular Czech government has faced a particularly turbulent few weeks after the Justice Minister accepted a $45 million Bitcoin gift for the ministry from an ex-convict. That sparked a no-confidence vote, led by the populist opposition party ANO. The government did narrowly survive, but the whole scandal has only deepened public distrust. And with elections just months away, a big defeat now seems almost inevitable. So in this video, we're going to have a look at how the current coalition became this unpopular, explain the latest scandal, and why they'll likely not survive the upcoming elections. If you're interested in the political alliances and groupings which shape our world, then you might enjoy our poster, Every Alliance Explained. It shows, in slightly confusing detail, all of the world's major alliances and how different countries link together. Check out the poster by clicking the link in the description. So let's start with a bit of context. Czech politics is currently dominated by two major political forces. The centre-right coalition SPOLU, meaning together in Czech, and the catch-all populist movement ANO, which translates to yes. ANO, which is led by former Prime Minister, billionaire and agriculture magnate Andrej Babiš, was in government from 2014 to 2021. However, due to a severely bad fallout from the COVID pandemic, where Czechia went through prolonged lockdowns and suffered one of the highest mortality rates in the world, ANO lost the election to the newly formed SPOLU coalition, led by political science professor Petr Fiala, and composed of the conservative ODS, Christian Democratic KDU-CSL, and the liberal conservative TOP09. SPOLU subsequently entered government with two other parties, the Liberal Mayors and the Independent Movement and the more progressive Pirates Party, but almost immediately things started to go downhill. The government came into power at the height of Europe's energy crisis, triggered by Russia's invasion of Ukraine, to which the government reacted by capping energy prices and subsidising the difference, which cost the government hundreds of billions of crowns. This, in addition to much higher defence spending in respect to the war, and the fact that the country's public finances were already in a bit of a state as a result of the introduction of a tax break passed a few years ago by the former government, meant that the government imposed budget cuts and introduced some controversial measures in order to bring down the deficit. They reduced pension valorisations and increased the retirement age from 65 to 67 years old. And despite promising not to raise taxes, they increased taxes on property ownership, small businesses, and working people. Not only did these measures not go down well with the public, but the communication of these policies was criticised as poor, inconsistent, and marred by several U-turns and gaffes. To make matters worse, the government approved a pay rise for politicians last October, a move that felt especially tone-deaf, given many Czechs have experienced a sharp decline in living standards amid a worsening housing crisis and has seen the largest drop in real wages in the EU since 2019. Unsurprisingly, the government has become deeply unpopular, and Fiala, long ranked as one of the least liked European heads of government, has a net approval rating of -77. Meanwhile, a poll from last year found only 24% of Czechs said they trust the government, in contrast to 73% who didn't. And a more recent poll found that even a third of SPOLU's own core voters said that they've lost confidence in Fiala's government. At this point, it's worth noting too that public distrust in government isn't exactly new in Czechia. The country consistently ranks among the lowest in the OECD for trust in national institutions, with confidence in government typically hovering around just 20 to 30%, and often dropping even lower. In fact, out of all public institutions, including the police, military, courts, and even international bodies like the EU and NATO, the least trusted by far are the Czech lawmakers themselves, the Chamber of Deputies and the Senate. So, while Fiala's government is clearly in trouble, no recent Czech administration has managed to stay popular for long. Meanwhile, Andrej Babiš has maintained steady pressure on the government, campaigning against the ongoing budget cuts and tax hikes. ANO shifted right on social issues, becoming more Eurosceptic, targeting disaffected SPOLU voters as well as supporters of the nationalist SPD party. This strategy seems to be working. ANO won last year's European elections, secured over 35% in regional votes, and has been consistently leading national polls by around 10 points. Babiš was also helped by the fact that he was cleared of charges in an EU funds embezzlement case. Things went from bad to worse for the government in March, when the Justice Ministry quietly accepted a large number of bitcoins, worth around $45 million, from Tomasz Jurakowski, a convicted criminal who once ran one of the world's biggest illegal darknet markets. After his release from prison, Jurakowski regained access to a crypto wallet seized during his arrest, and reportedly gave around 30% to the Justice Ministry, the purpose of which was unclear. The Justice Ministry later auctioned it off for cash. The scandal unsurprisingly hasn't gone down well with the Czech public, and according to a recent poll, a quarter of SPOLU voters believe that the government should resign immediately over the scandal. Critics have argued that the donation's origin should have been verified, as accepting it risks legitimising or laundering illegal profits, and also suggests a form of bribery, which the country's main body for combating organised crime is currently investigating. To make matters worse, the Justice Minister Pavel Blažek already doesn't have the cleanest of records. He's known as Don Pablo in Czech political circles due to his previous scandals that included attending a pro-Russian lobbyist's party and alleged real estate-related corruption. The finance minister was also involved, as his department had to process the transfer, but the extent of his role is currently not completely known. Anyway, to stem the fallout, Blažek resigned, saying he believed he acted legally, but wanted to avoid further damage to the government. In his place, Fiala appointed Eva de Croy, a Civic Democratic Party lawmaker. But the scandal continued to divide the coalition. The agriculture minister called for the money to be frozen. The mayors and independents went even further, demanding an investigation into why the financial authorities weren't informed in advance before accepting the donation. Even more concerning is that the Christian Democrat Party has threatened that if more incriminating details surrounding the scandal emerge, they may leave the coalition before the next election. For Babiš, this has all been perfect timing. In recent weeks, his party's lead in the polls has started to narrow slightly, but the Bitcoin scandal has handed them fresh momentum. Babiš quickly called for a no-confidence vote, the government's fourth vote, accusing the government of money laundering and corruption. Whilst the vote failed, the damage was done, and all signs point to a major political shift coming in this autumn's election, and quite possibly a dramatic return to power for Babiš. Now, all parties in the current centre-right government have ruled out working with Babiš. So if he wins the next election but can't form a coalition, his most likely path to power could involve teaming up with the hard-right Eurosceptic SPD party, which is currently polling in third place and seeing a resurgence after gaining support from three smaller nationalist parties. Like a lot of things right now, this topic is increasingly complex and ever-changing. And here at TLDR, we're committed to learning more to help us understand the world around us. Luckily for us, our sponsor this week, Brilliant, helps us do just this. We know that learning a little every day is one of the most important things you can do, both for personal and professional growth. And Brilliant helps you get smarter in minutes a day. You can even perfect your skills wherever you are, whether you're on the go or winding down. It's the opposite of mindless scrolling. Brilliant has the perfect mix of engaging problems, competitive features, and daily encouragement that keeps you motivated and on track. For instance, Brilliant's data science content uses real-world data to train you to see trends and make better informed decisions. No matter your level of skill, these courses are perfect to start or continue learning data analysis, with a full suite of content covering data visualizations, algorithms, regression models, and more. Learn how to parse and visualize massive datasets from brands you know to make them easier to interpret. Plus, all content on Brilliant is crafted by an award-winning team of teachers, researchers, and professionals from Stanford, MIT, Caltech, Microsoft, Google, and more. To try Brilliant for free, visit brilliant.org/TLDR, scan the QR code on screen, or click the link in the description. By doing so, you'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription, and they'll know you came from us, which really helps us out.